Now, after the traffic stop that ended with the death of Lavoy Finicum, as well as the arrest of Cliven Bundy and other anti-government militants, Cliven Bundy decided to weigh in.
The remaining occupiers in Oregon are speaking to CNN this morning, less than 24 hours after their former leader, Cliven Bundy, told them to go home. Bundy's plea to vacate comes in direct response to protester Lavoy Finicum's death. Finicum was shot and killed by police on Tuesday during his arrest. But it looks like not all of the Bundys are on the same page. Ammon's father, Cliven, is also speaking out, and he's calling on the occupiers to stay put.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We're darn sure going to have to fight this battle over and over if we just give up right today. I mean, we've got a life lost, but that life wasn't wasted.
Yeah, it sure was wasted. It sure was. Now, before I get into the substance here, did you notice how CNN referred to the late Lavoy Finicum as a protester? Protester. I got news for you. He was not a protester. He was an armed militant. Whether or not you agree with him, you should be able to know that he was not a protester. He was armed. He was a militant. Okay? He wanted to get his, views. He wanted to get his demands met using guns. That's why he had his gun. That's why they took over that sanctuary. Anyway, people with Black Lives Matter are protesters, right? Occupy Wall Street. Those are protesters too. But once you do a takeover, a hostile takeover with arms, you lose the ability to call yourself a protester. See, CNN, this is why you're a joke, CNN. This is why you're a joke. Why are they always afraid of calling white right-wingers militants when that's clearly what they are? If you carry around a gun and take over federal property, you're a militant. You're not a protester. That's ridiculous. All right, anyway. So, on to their demands, right? So later on, they demanded that, hey, look, the remaining militants at the Malheur Wildlife Refuge said, look, FBI, we'll leave. We'll leave the refuge if you grant us some demands. So their demands are that they will not get arrested, and they won't be searched, and their guns won't be checked. So basically, walk away so that they can join their families. So wait, let me get this straight. You invade a federal building with guns. You cost taxpayers millions of dollars. You plot to take over a town in a nearby county. Remember, Cliven Bundy got arrested for going to a secret meeting to set up a shadow government in another county, in a nearby county, to take over. That's a hostile takeover. And now you're saying, oh, look, let's forget about that whole thing, right? We'll leave if you agree not to arrest us or take our guns, or even check our guns. Why? Why should we meet their demands? Why? These guys are thugs. They're criminals. Look, I'm not saying I want them killed or anything, right? But they shouldn't just be able to walk away. They took over federal property with guns, with weapons. They accessed government computers, and they destroyed Native American artifacts. And then they demand that they get to walk away with no consequences. No, fuck that. That's not going to happen. If any other group did what these guys did, they wouldn't be allowed to walk away. So why should these guys get to walk away without any consequences? Now look, if you want to have a discussion on federal land management, that's a discussion worth having, right? But you can't do what these guys did. You can't just throw a hissy fit, grab your guns, and start demanding shit. That's what criminals and terrorists do. That's not how this whole thing works. Okay, you can't just do that. So I find it really scary how quickly some right-wingers jump into grabbing their guns and stomping their feet when they want something. Kind of like whiny children, but with weapons, instead of actually relying on the democratic process. Apparently, people like this don't believe in the democratic process, and instead believe that they're not subject to we the people, okay? They believe that if they want something, all they need to do is to grab their guns, and that we're all supposed to just, fall in line to what they want. That shit ain't happening, dude.